just amazing. From bright, colorful fish in tropical coral reefs to absolutely terrifying monsters swimming deep down in undersea pits, the world's oceans are as diverse in life as they are vast in size. Today we'll be taking a look at 15 of the most amazing sea creatures. Let's begin. Number 10. The barrel-eye fish. At first glance, the barrel-eye fish is pretty frightening. After all, it has what can only be described as a see-through head, and its two greenish-yellow bulbs in its skulls are fully functioning eyes, while what looks like two black eye dots on its forehead are actually part of its nose. Now, this strange frankenfish is about 600 to 800 meters below the surface of the water and can grow up to 15 centimeters in length, and generally feeds on zooplankton and crustaceans that latch on to the tentacles of octopus or bodies of siphonophores. Now, in order to feed, it first uses its eyes to look upwards, then, once it finds its prey, twists its body and eyes upward to snag a tasty meal. And while these fish are notoriously difficult to find, they reside in waters across the Pacific Ocean, making them one of the more widely dispersed species on this list. Number 9. The blobfish. If you're well-versed in internet culture, then you've undoubtedly seen a picture of a blobfish, often considered to be one of the ugliest creatures out there, right besides animals such as the naked mole rat and the proboscis monkey. It's hard to imagine that a fish shaped like a massive blob would be able to fend for itself in the wild. However, the reality is that the blobfish isn't a blob at all. You see, those creatures live in deep coastal waters off the coast of Australia and generally reside at depths of between 600 to 1,200 meters below the sea level. In this region of the ocean, the pressure is up to 120 times higher than it is at the surface, and it's this pressure that the blobfish relies on in order to maintain a rather regular-looking fish shape. However, once brought to the surface, it begins to decompress rapidly due to the lack of pressure, leading to the blobbed appearance that was often the subject of many memes in the early 2010s. Therefore, while the blobfish may look a little silly, the truth of the matter is that it's only thanks to human interference that it looks as unusual as it does. Number 8. The pistol shrimp. At first glance, the pistol shrimp doesn't look like a creature that lives up to its name. After all, at just a few centimeters in length, it certainly isn't very large, and looks-wise, it seems pretty benign as well. However, the pistol shrimp more than makes up for these cosmetic deficiencies by undoubtedly being the ocean's greatest gunslinger. That's because while most guns only work with bullets, the pistol shrimp manages to take down its prey with supercharged bubbles. More specifically, when the pistol shrimp snaps both its small pincer claw and large snapper claw in a very specific way, it's able to make a cavitation bubble that's so pressurized that it shoots forth a bubble that travels as much as 32 meters per second. This shot is so powerful that it produces a noise that's 210 decibels loud, which for reference is far louder than the 150 decibels that you'd hear from a human gunshot. The bubble is also super steamy, as it briefly heats the water to a temperature of over 4,000 degrees Celsius, which is pretty incredible given that this is only about 1,000 degrees cooler than the surface of the sun. As you could probably imagine, the impact of this powerful bubble is usually powerful enough to kill or at least knock out the pistol shrimp's prey immediately, and as a result, it can quite easily find food to pull into its burrow and munch on. Number 7. The pocket shark. While hammerheads, great whites, and coral reef sharks may be the most famous sharks, the pocket shark certainly stands apart. That's because instead of being a massive flesh-tearing beast, pocket sharks are small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Found in the waters off South and Central America, they're a bit of a natural oddity, as they have a bulbous head that resembles that of a whale and measure in at just 140 millimeters in length. Yet beyond its shape and size, the pocket shark's most fascinating asset is its ability to glow in the dark. Known as bioluminescence, this is possible because its gills are two pockets that secrete a luminous fluid, which enables the shark to hunt in the dark. Just in case this doesn't cut it, the pocket shark also has clusters of photophores around its body, which also help to produce light. However, due to their deep-sea habitat and small size, pocket sharks have remained elusive to the scientific community. Only 2 have ever been caught by humans, with the first being found back in 1979 off the coast of Chile, and the second being caught in 2019 in the Gulf of Mexico. Yet given how far apart they're located, experts such as National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration researcher Mark Grace believe that these sharks were 2 separate species. In any case, I think it's fair to say that pocket sharks are some of the ocean's tiniest yet mightiest predators. Before we move on, remember to subscribe to Just Amazing for more amazing themed videos. Number 6. The hoodwinker sunfish. When it comes to size, few fish are quite as massive as the hoodwinker sunfish. Discovered back in 2017, this species, which is also known as the molotecta, comes in at a length of about 2.5 meters and a weight of about 2 tons. For reference, this is heavier than many small cars, and as a result, it's caught the eye of fish enthusiasts from around the world. Now, generally speaking, the hoodwinker sunfish is found in the southern hemisphere, and more specifically in the waters near Australia, New Zealand, southern Chile, and southern Africa. However, in February of 2019, one of these incredible fish gained media attention when it washed up in all of places, Southern California. Now, at first, the researchers on hand didn't think it was a hoodwinker. After all, this species is not known to live in the waters near this area, and a similar species, which is known as the mola mola, or ocean sunfish, is seen quite often in California waters. Yet after Thomas Turner, who's an associate professor at UC Santa Barbara, and Jessica Nielsen, who's a conservation specialist, corresponded together, they found that the fish's clavis, which is a distinct feature on the molotecta, was in fact consistent with the specimens found in the southern hemisphere. And although the reason as to why this hoodwinker sunfish was so far out of its range is still unclear, what is clear is that this fish is truly an ecological unicorn. Number 5. The Emperor Dumbo. While the worlds of academia and Disney cartoons rarely ever mix, the Emperor Dumbo is a rare exception to that rule. That's because this incredible-looking species stands apart for having umbrella-like webbing joining its tentacles and cartoonishly ear-like fins, which to many human observers look a lot like the ears on Dumbo, or alternatively like the ears of Yoda. However, unlike its Disney counterparts, the Emperor Dumbo is not found high in the sky, but low in the ocean, as these octopuses generally reside at depths of about 4,500 meters. This made the actual discovery of this species extremely lucky, as it was first found in 2016 by scientists from the University of Bonn in Germany, after the survey ship RV Song caught the Emperor Dumbo in one of its nets while cruising around Alaska's Aleutian Islands. Apparently, there are several different types of Dumbo octopus, but this Emperor Dumbo is rare because unlike most deep-sea octopuses, which get damaged when they're captured by nets, the Emperor Dumbo found by the German scientists was completely intact. As such, rather than dismember the specimen to find out more details, the scientists were able to use MRI and micro-CT scans instead, so that only a DNA sample cut had to be made. In terms of its name, the duo chose to name it the Emperor Dumbo because it was found along the slopes of the Emperor Seamount chain in the Pacific, although they considered it calling it the Kaiser Dumbo in homage to their German roots. In any case, no matter what the name, I think that the Dumbo octopus is a pretty cool species. Number 4. The Siphonophore. When you think of long animals, chances are that a snake species such as anacondas and boa constrictors come to mind. And while these serpents may be long, they don't come anywhere near the length of the Siphonophore. You see, back in April of 2020, scientists discovered a new aquatic species. Although still unnamed, it's part of the Siphonophore family and features a string-like shape that's quite similar to that of a spiraled UFO. The outer ring of the creature is estimated to be about 47 meters long, and yet its full length is likely closer to 119 meters. As a result, it has been confirmed to be the world's longest animal, as it's more than double the length of the previous record holder, which was the 55-meter-long ribbon worm. Now, although not much is known about this Siphonophore, scientists have determined that these creatures are predators that reside in the deep ocean at depths of around 630 meters. They managed to get to their massive 100-plus meter long size thanks to the fact that they're not one organism, but rather a collection of many small clones working together as one animal. These clones are fascinating because rather than perform independent tasks, they instead, as lead researcher Narita Wilson has stated, quote, somehow communicate with each other and decide, well, we're going to take over the role of feeding, and another group of clones will take over the role of reproduction, end quote. Best of all, given that the team that found this Siphonophore has also found squirrel-tailed sea cucumbers and giant hydroids, I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to discover and document incredible underwater creatures. Number 3. The Stonefish. While chameleons are the camouflage champions of the animal kingdom on land, the stonefish takes first place under the sea. After all, they look almost exactly like stones, and while this protects them in their natural environment, it puts humans in a lot of trouble when they're placed outside of it. Found throughout the Indian and Pacific Oceans, the stonefish is widely considered to be one of the most poisonous fish on the planet. That's because when disturbed, it releases a toxin that's so venomous that it can easily kill an adult human in less than an hour. You see, while it would be difficult for someone to get injured by one underwater, the issue is that stonefish often wash up on land. This is problematic because they can survive for up to 24 hours out of the water, and since they look a lot like a stone, it's easy for innocent beachgoers to step on one accidentally. Now, when one is stepped on, the stonefish releases toxin from a combination of its 13 dorsal spines. Unfortunately, the amount of toxin that's let out is proportional to how much pressure is placed on it, and so when the full force of a bare or sandaled human foot is applied, it's enough to release an extremely poisonous dose. The specific type of venom that the stonefish has is known as a verrucotoxin and has the ability to not only induce intense pain, but also cause respiratory weakness, damage to the cardiovascular system, convulsions, paralysis, and at times even death. To make matters worse, because the toxin is known to both destroy the cell membranes and lower the white blood cell count of an affected person, their wounds are especially difficult to treat, meaning that unless someone is brought to a hospital ASAP, it is very likely that they'll have a difficult recovery. Therefore, while the stonefish is incredibly good at camouflage and incredibly powerful, I wouldn't suggest getting too close to one. Number 2. The hagfish. Of all the slimy species out there, none produce quite as much gunk as the hagfish. Now, this slime-producing fish is long, has a lack of eyes, and is completely made of cartilage. And while it may look very similar to an eel and is often called the slime eel, it's not in fact related to those creatures at all. Instead, it's a jawless fish that has a skull but no vertebrae, making it a true anomaly in the animal kingdom. Now, hagfish produce their famous slime whenever they're stressed or feel threatened by predators, and it works in two ways. The first is that if they're caught in the jaws of, say, a shark, they can use the slime to slide their way free, although if this solution isn't tenable, it turns out that the slime can also mix with seawater and clog a predator's gills, making it near impossible for them to breathe. Now, the hagfish produces massive amounts of this milky and fibrous slime through glands along their flanks, yet it turns out that while it's a nightmare for other fish, the slime can be of benefit to humans. That's because unlike other types of mucus, hagfish slime doesn't dry out, and thanks to its strength, flexibility, and the ability to be turned into a fabric, it has a variety of uses that are being developed. The first is as a jelly on eel skin bags, as it can replace materials such as nylon in making these bags more flexible, durable, and environmentally friendly. Hagfish slime could be used in other protective gear such as safety helmets and Kevlar vests, while it's also been tested for use in airbags and other car parts to make them lighter and more flexible. Scientists have also experimented with turning hagfish slime into hydrogels that can be used in disposable diapers and farm irrigation systems. And the material is so promising that even the US Navy is working with the slime in hopes that it could be the basis of a substance that could protect divers from underwater attacks. However, only time will tell whether or not the hagfish slime becomes mainstream. Number 1. Great white sharks. This list wouldn't be complete if we didn't include one of the most powerful creatures in the ocean, the great white shark. Now, while they're not nearly as dangerous as movies like Jaws and Sharknado make them out to be, their hunting abilities are truly top of the class. Measuring in at as much as 6 meters in length and weighing in at about 2.5 tons, they are massive fish, and they use this mass in order to bring down their prey. More specifically, they have a set of 300 serrated teeth that allow them not only to chomp down on prey such as sea lions, seals, small-toothed whales, and sea turtles, but also easily keep them in their grasp. They're also incredibly fast, as they can travel at speeds of up to 56 kilometers per hour in short bursts in order to chase down their dinner. Now, while great whites generally leave humans alone, from time to time they mistake them for seals. When they do, they generally take one bite, realize their mistake, and then swim away. However, just one bite is enough to severely maim or even kill a human, and so it should come as a relief that there are only about 30 to 35 great white shark attacks every year. Despite all this, there's still a lot of fear surrounding the great white, although the reality is that it's them that are most scared of us than we are of them. That's because about 145 countries are involved in shark fin trade, and oftentimes great whites are targeted so that their meaty fins can end up on someone's dinner table. As a result of both this and other factors, the great white is currently considered to be vulnerable to extinction, and so I think that this is super important that conservation efforts are made to save this incredible species.
Thanks for watching Just Amazing. Click to watch our previous video.